you need SAS to do. You want to select observations based on variables in the input dataset, as well as on variables that you're creating. You could consider using a where statement, but the where statement selects observations when they are read from the input dataset to the program data vector. In this situation, you want to subset observations based on the variable country and the variable bonus month. Country is a part of the Orion.Sales input dataset, but bonus month is a variable that you're creating, so you can't use the where statement in this situation. To review the where statement, click Review. To subset observations based on the value of a variable you create, you can use the subsetting if statement. The syntax for the if statement is the keyword if and an if expression that you want to evaluate. Remember, an expression is a sequence of operands and operators that form a set of instructions. You can specify multiple expressions in a subsetting if statement. Although if expressions are similar to where expressions, you cannot use special where operators in if expressions. Now we can use the subsetting if statement to select observations where country is equal to AU and bonus month is equal to 12. Let's see how SAS processes the subsetting if statement. SAS reads the first observation from the input data into the PDV. Next, SAS calculates the value of bonus month. Then SAS evaluates the if expression. If the expression is true, SAS assigns the value 500 to bonus and calculates the value of compensation. Finally, SAS writes the observation from the PDV to the output dataset and processing returns to the top of the data step. SAS reads the next observation from the input dataset into the PDV. This time, country is US and bonus month is 8, so the if expression is false. Processing returns to the top of the data step and continues with the next observation from the input dataset. Check yourself by answering a few questions.
Now let's see how using the subsetting if statement works in SAS. Let's start with this code that uses a data statement to specify work.December as the output dataset and a set statement to specify Orion.Sales as the input dataset. Now let's select observations based on country and bonus month. We need to use a subsetting if statement to select the observations that we want. We're looking for Australian employees who receive a bonus in December, so bonus month must be equal to 12 and country must be equal to AU. Let's submit the program and check the log. Notice that 165 observations were read from Orion.Sales, and only 3 observations and 12 variables were written to work.December. Let's check the output. Only observations that are true for both conditions are written to the output dataset.
It can be confusing to determine which statement to use, the where statement or the subsetting if statement. Let's discuss how you decide. If you are subsetting observations in a proc step, you must use a where statement. You cannot use a subsetting if statement. That's easy. If you are subsetting observations in a data step, you can always use the subsetting if statement. That's easy too. The tricky part is knowing when you can use a where statement in the data step. You only have to remember one rule. When you use a where statement in the data step, the where expression must reference only variables from the input dataset. Let's see what the rule about input variables means in different situations. If you're trying to subset based on a variable that SAS is reading from a single dataset using the set statement, you can use a where statement. You can also use a where statement if you are trying to subset based on a variable that SAS is reading from multiple datasets using the set or merge statement, as long as all the datasets contain the variable you're referencing. If the variable is not in all datasets, you can't use a where statement. Here's a question. Why can't you use a where statement when you read raw data? If you are reading a raw data file, SAS isn't reading any variables from an existing dataset. Here's another question. Why can't you use a where statement based on a variable that's created with an assignment statement? A variable that's created using an assignment statement doesn't exist in the input dataset. Remember, the where statement subsets data as SAS reads the data into the PDV. When it's easier to specify a condition for excluding observations than for selecting observations, you can use a delete statement within an if-then-else statement as an alternative to the subsetting if statement. For your assignment, you want to delete the observation if the value of bonus month isn't equal to 12. When SAS finds the if expression true, it stops processing the current observation and doesn't write the observation to the output dataset. This is the same as processing the observation only if the value of bonus month is 12. Let's check your progress. Answer these questions. Now, try practicing in your... Here's what you learned in this lesson. Now, test your understanding by taking the lesson.